They lied. Elizabeth I and Elizabeth II are not related. They lied. The Tudors ended in 1603. They lied. 500 years means a new family took the throne. All of it is a lie. The truth is buried in blood, not in history books. March 24, 1603. Richmond Palace. Elizabeth I is dying. She is 69 years old. She refuses food. She refuses to speak. She refuses to name an heir. England is 6 hours from chaos. Because a throne with no heir means civil war. It means invasion. It means the Wars of the Roses all over again. Unless the heir was already chosen. Unless the bloodline was never broken. To find that heir, we have to go back 500 years. To her grandfather. To the man who founded the Tudor dynasty. Henry VII. In 1485, he killed Richard III at Bosworth Field and took the crown. He ended the war. He started a new line. His first son, Arthur, died at 15. The direct line was dead. Or so it seemed. Because Henry had a backup plan. He had a daughter. Her name was Margaret Tudor. In 1503, Margaret was 13 years old. She was not married for love. She was married for strategy. Her husband was James IV, King of Scotland. England's enemy for 300 years. The court called it peace. Henry called it insurance. He sent Tudor blood into Scotland. Margaret hated it. She was a prisoner in a cold, foreign court. But she did her duty. She had a son, James V. James V had a daughter, Mary. Mary, Queen of Scots. And Mary had a son, James VI. While Elizabeth I ruled England as the Virgin Queen, James VI grew up 400 miles north in Edinburgh. He was her cousin. He was her heir. And neither of them knew how close they were. In 1587, Elizabeth signed Mary's death warrant. Mary was beheaded at Fotheringhay Castle. Elizabeth thought she had cut the Scottish threat. She forgot about the son. James VI was alive. And his claim to the English throne was legal and it was strong. On March 24, 1603, Elizabeth I died without naming anyone. England held its breath. Then a rider came from the north. James VI of Scotland would be King of England. There was no war. There was no fight. Because the war had been won 100 years earlier with a child bride. The Tudors did not die. They became the Stuarts. James VI became James I. But the Stuarts bled. Charles I lost his head in 1649. The crown was abolished. Cromwell's republic began. Then it came back with Charles II. Then it fell again when James II was thrown out in 1688. Again, no heir. So England searched the family tree again. They found Sophia of Hanover, James I's granddaughter. She died weeks before she could be queen. But her son lived, George I. In 1714, a German who could not speak English became King of England. He did not need the language. He had the blood. Margaret's blood. The House of Hanover ruled next. George II. George III, who lost America and lost his mind. George IV. William IV, who had no legitimate children. And then Victoria. In 1837, an 18-year-old girl took the throne for 63 years. She married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Her children married into every royal house in Europe. She became the grandmother of Europe. But her dynasty had a German name. From Victoria came Edward VII. From Edward came George V. From George V came George VI. And from George VI came Elizabeth II. In 1917, during World War I, Germany was the enemy. So George V killed his own name. He signed one paper. Saxe-Coburg and Gotha was erased. Windsor was born. Same blood. New mask. George V died. Edward VIII abdicated for love. George VI took the crown. He stammered. He hated the microphone. But he ruled. And he had a daughter. In 1926, Elizabeth Alexander Mary was born. Third in line. Never meant to be queen. In 1952, she was in Kenya, staying in a treehouse at Treetops Hotel. A messenger found her. Your father is dead. You are queen. Elizabeth II ruled for 70 years. She saw 15 prime ministers. She saw the empire fall. She saw the internet rise. She died in 2022. Elizabeth I had 0 children. Elizabeth II had 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. They were separated by 419 years. For dynasties, 1 family tree, Tudor, Stuart, Hanoverian, Windsor. For names, 1 bloodline, all because of Margaret Tudor in 1503, a 13-year-old girl married to the enemy. She saved a dynasty for 5 centuries. No heir? The line never lost the throne. That is not history. That is strategy. Elizabeth I thought she was the end. She was the link.